It is Breaking the News Plus on this Friday, Halloween night. I'm sick and tired of talking about politics and everything that's gone wrong. Well, wait, we are going to talk about things going wrong because we're going to talk about Minnesota men's sports right now with Jim Souhan from the Star Tribune, longtime sports columnist. Hello, Jim Souhan.
Hello, Jana. You're right. Everything's going wrong, but it's sports, so it's a fun way of having things go wrong, I think. Actually, I take that back. It's horrible.
Okay, who has it worse right now? The Vikings, the Twins, the Wild, or the Wolves?
I would say the Wild, number one. They just spent a fortune to keep their best player and their goaltender, and they're horrible. They're unwatchable. They seem to have no future. They're not even playing with effort. It's pathetic.
Yep.
Number two, Twins, because I don't see a path to them being good soon. And they had a chance to hire a manager who would kind of at least lend a sense they're trying something new, and they hired their old friend Derek Shelton. I actually think Derek Shelton has a chance to be a good manager. He might be a great manager, but it's not a great symbol or message for this fan base that feels like it's a bunch of comfortable people sitting over Target Field, not really trying to win. They aren't really changing perceptions that way. Then the Vikings, because it's an old, bad team with a lot of expensive veterans, and they're now having to break in a rookie quarterback against maybe the best team in the NFL. So this might not be a very happy weekend for them either. The Wolves, slow start. It happens. Edwards is out. They do have problems to work through, but I also think when they get Anthony Edwards back, a lot of those problems will disappear. So I think they are the least problematic of the four major pro sports men's teams right now.
Well, that was a lot of fun.
That was fun. You're right. That was a blast.
That felt good.
Let's do it again sometime.
Let's just swim in whichever negative pool we can, or give us some hope here. Let's focus on the team that's got the most attention kind of nationwide, and that is the Vikings. I read an exhaustive piece in The Athletic today about the Vikings' problems and this whole quarterback thing, that everything that could go wrong did go wrong. I've seen people blame everybody but the Easter Bunny, but that's probably going to happen soon, for how this season has gone thus far. How much pressure does J.J. McCarthy have on him on Sunday to prove, yes, he's ready for the NFL?
First, and I have a Sunday column that gets into a lot of these things. They do have an amazing array of problems right now. So here's the catch-22, right? J.J. McCarthy is basically being tasked to save this season, and that's completely unfair. I think if he goes out there and plays like a professional, that's a win. If he starts on the road to improvement and development, that's a win. The problem with that individual narrative and storyline is none of that's going to save the season. I don't think anything can save the season, frankly. I think they're going to win 5 to 7 games, miss the playoffs, and have a lot of questions to answer. So for me, I'm already in the space of saying, if McCarthy looks good, that's a win. Take it. You've been trying to find and develop a young franchise quarterback since Fran Tarkenton left the franchise.
It's been a minute.
If you can come out of this season, now that it doesn't look like it's a very good team, and I don't think it's a very good team, now to me it's all about developing McCarthy. And that really doesn't depend on him just playing well this weekend. It depends on him being in position to be a good quarterback by the end of the year.
Why was there so much optimism then preseason? Do you think that was misguided? Do you think that the fans were tricked into thinking we did have a good team? Because I thought we did have a good team. We were good last year.
I think we all gave the benefit of the doubt to a lot of people who had earned the benefit of the doubt. Kevin O'Connell is a very good offensive coach. We've seen him do great work with quarterbacks. He handpicked McCarthy. He worked with McCarthy. He's had a year to work with McCarthy. The suspicion was that he would have McCarthy ready to roll. And we don't know what would happen if he hadn't gotten hurt. He had the incredible fourth quarter in Chicago. Then he played an Atlanta Falcons defense that actually has been very tough on good quarterbacks. And he hurt his ankle during that game. So he didn't play well during that game, but it doesn't mean he wouldn't have played well the next week if he'd been healthy, or he wouldn't have developed. We also gave Brian Flores a lot of credit for just making every defensive player look good. We're seeing this year that he probably had defensive players who were pretty good, and he helped to make them look good. They spent a lot of money in veteran free agency on guys who have not helped. The defensive line, they spent $80 million, and the defensive line got worse. They let Camp Bynum leave. They have not replaced him. They bring Harrison Smith back. Harrison hasn't been able to do much. They lose Stephon Gilmore. They replace him with Jeff Okudah, who hasn't been very good and now has a concussion. It's like every level of this team, every place they try to improve, it's backfired. A year after, everybody they brought in was a win. So I don't really blame anybody for thinking they were going to be good this year. They're coming off a 14-win season. They had good people in place running the thing, we thought, and they made the same kind of moves they made the year before. It's just that they didn't work this time.
How do you placate the fan base? I mean, nobody likes the term rebuilding year. Nobody likes to hear things like that. You want full effort. But, what are you thinking if you're a fan? And also, what are you thinking if you're Justin Jefferson?
Jefferson, I think, is frustrated. He's been a really good soldier since he's been here. But the way he answers certain questions. One of my colleagues asked him recently about the quarterbacks he's played with, and he basically had the list in his head. It's like, oh yeah, there's this guy, that guy, that guy, that guy, that guy, that guy, that guy, and didn't sound really thrilled to be listing all those names off. When we were in London, I asked him a similar question. He was like, hey, this is just what I've been dealt with, So I don't think he's thrilled. I honestly have no ability to predict whether he's going to continue to be a good soldier or whether he will reach a point of frustration where he'll want to go play someplace else. We haven't seen it yet. I hate to predict it, but it's certainly a possibility if things keep going down this road. I also think he likes J.J. McCarthy. If J.J. shows signs of life and signs of being somebody who Justin can play with successfully for the next 5-6 years, I think he'd be all in. Everybody just needs that little bit of a sign that McCarthy's going to be able to do it.
And therein lies the point of my question, all eyes on JJ on Sunday. And to your point, not all his fault that he has to bear this, but the quarterback is the most difficult position in sports, definitely in that game, and a lot of pressure comes there. Let's turn the page then to what in the hell does the Minnesota Wild have to do to not stink so much right now?
They're going to have to fire the coach. And I'm usually not the person who says that coaches should be fired. It's kind of a last resort for me. And there are other sports where I think firing a coach is much more difficult. You fire an NFL head coach, you got to change all kinds of systems and offensive and defensive philosophies. You fire a baseball manager, you're kind of ignoring the fact that baseball managers really don't control winning and losing. Basketball, I think you can fire a coach without too much strain. But hockey, let's face it, there are like 4 or 5 great coaches, and everybody else is just getting recycled. Dean Evison fired here. He got hired someplace else. If they fire Hines, he'll probably get hired someplace else down the road. Hockey is such an effort sport that when you see a team not making an effort, you kind of have to fire the coach, and you have to bring in a coach who will get everybody's attention and at least give the team a bump, a jolt, so they will play hard for a period of time, and then you can fairly evaluate what you have. Right now, we can't even evaluate the team because they're not playing hard enough.
That's just crazy. And definitely frustrating for a fan base. I've heard some things from people that have gone to see them down at.
And it's justified. The Wild are pathetic. And the Vikings at least are coming off a really good year, and they're trying to develop a quarterback. You can kind of understand how this befell them. The Twins are different because they've had 2 terrible years, and I just don't think they're recognizing where they are or what their perception of them is. Hockey, the Wild haven't been good in a long, long time. They have the best player in franchise history. They're paying them an incredible amount of money. They don't have a great roster, but they do have a number of good players on the roster. For them to be playing at this level is really pathetic.
Yeah, especially to disappointment to the fans. And after that big jolt of excitement making that deal, Guerin was like, this is the deal, we got him. Okay, then what?
They probably spent too much, and they didn't improve their team. They just signed a player they already had to a long-term deal. So is it a good thing they kept Kaprizov? Of course it is, but it wasn't a move that actually improved this roster. It kept the roster the same.
All right, I got to get to a silver lining in the sports world of the week. Cheryl Reeve named to the Hall of Fame. Our GM and coach of the Minnesota Lynx. I mean, it was a foregone conclusion. Kind of made me a little sad. We're already putting her there, because I'm like, she's got a lot of time left, but she has earned it at this point.
Well, she's earned it. You could have put her in 8 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all about timing. It's like putting Elvis in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, when does he want to go in, And we don't know how much longer Cheryl wants to do this. We don't know what's going to happen with the CBA, all these other things. I don't think there's a bad time to put Cheryl Reeve into the Hall of Fame. She's going in as a coach. If she keeps pulling off the magic she pulled off the last couple of years, maybe she goes in as a general manager someday too.
What do you think about the future of the W next year? Today was the deadline. It gets extended 30 days. We've seen these extensions before, but the players have their heels dug in for good reason. And so it seems does the league. What's the positive outcome if there ever is going to be one here?
I mean, the only way these things get done is some level of compromise. I think the players have the stronger case. I think the players deserve more compensation. I think Kathy Engelbert has been a terrible leader and a terrible communicator. And I don't think she understands where this league is and how much damage can be done if they do have a strike or a shutdown. So I'm kind of on the players' side. I just hope that even though the players are in the right and they deserve a much higher percentage of the revenues, basically the percentage of the revenue should be the same as the men get. It's not as big a pie, but they should get the same slice of that pie.
Which is what they're asking for.
And was what they get. They're in the right. They should get it. I also hope that they're not so dug in that if they get something close to a reasonable deal, I hope that they get something close to a reasonable deal, they're willing to take it and understand that this league is going to continue to grow. And if you continue to see the growth in revenues that they've had the last couple of years, they're going to continue to have strong positions they can take at the bargaining table in the future.
Yeah, I think a lot about the Minnesota Lynx, and I was at their season ticket holder day. I'm going back into that pool partially, can't afford the full season, but how many people showed up for season ticket day? I mean, what the franchise here stands to lose with a work stoppage, what the fans stand to lose. It just dumbfounds me that the league doesn't understand, as per your words, that is that even possible? Like, they see the numbers that they keep bragging about with their TV deals. They can't let these women walk away from the game. That's just crazy.
They can't. They can't. I've also covered a million CBA negotiations, and both sides always stake out a very firm position. It doesn't mean they won't come off of that in the 11th hour. It doesn't mean there won't be compromise in the future. I think the extension is a really good sign. I really don't have any faith in Kathy Engelbert making a good deal, but maybe somebody in her realm, her team. I mean, let's always remember, commissioners are not neutral parties. Commissioners work for the owners.
Correct.
She is an employee of the owners. She is a human shield for the owners. So what you really have to hope here, the key to all this, is that all the billionaire owners will realize they have a good thing here and they don't want to mess it up. I'm not sure I've that faith in them, but that's the best hope.
All right, well, now is the best part of the program. It's the end of the night where we get to say, everybody say it with me, shut up, Jim. Just kidding, I love you. Thanks for joining us on Breaking the News Plus, and we will see you next week in November. Take care.